Okay. We want to take a look at Stokes' theorem, another look at Stokes' theorem, to see if there's a relation between Stokes' theorem and Green's theorem. All right? So recall Stokes' theorem, of course. Let's write it down. Stokes' theorem says that the work, in other words, the integral over a closed curve C over a vector field f dr, which gives you the work, is equal to the double integral over a surface S of the curl of f dot the normal vector to the surface S times the ds, the surface integration. So this is the flux integral here, where the vector field is curl of f. And what is the picture? What is the relation between the surface S and the curve C? Well, the curve C bounds S. So here's the curve C, somewhere in 3D, positively oriented like this. This is the curve C. And it bounds some surface S that floats around in 3D space, like so perhaps. There we go. And if we want to explore the relation of this to Green's theorem, we've got to somehow get this down to 2 dimensions, because Green's theorem is a 2-dimensional theorem, whereas Stokes' theorem is 3 dimensions. So what I do is I'll try to take a look at this picture, but I make the curve, I pretend that the curve C is now only lying in the xy plane. So here's your xy plane, and the curve C is now down here. All right, this is the curve C here. There you go. And that means that the surface S that I want to pick, the easiest surface that I can use here is the surface S that is the inside of D, of the curve C. So this is my surface S. Call it D in this case, because D I usually use for spaces, for sets inside R2. All right, so this is the surface that bounds this thing. Now, if I want to apply Stokes' theorem, I got to find the curl of f, I'm going to leave this, but I got to find the n, the normal vector to the surface, and the ds. So let's take a look at the surface. This is in the xy plane, so this means that z is equal to 0, which is nice because that allows me to find out the normal vector first of all. The normal vector to this surface is simple because the surface always points up. The normal vector always points up here. So it's a constant. So the normal vector is equal to the vector k, which we also know as 0, 0, 1, of course, remember? And I have to find the surface element, the ds. But the ds is equal to the square root of fx squared plus fy squared plus 1 times the dA, but in this case I have the fx and the fy both being 0 because z is equal to 0 determines my surface. So that means that the ds is equal to the dA. All right. So that means that this theorem turns out to be the double integral of the curl of f. I said I didn't change this. N is turning out to be k. And the ds turned out to be the dA. And my xy's come from this region D that I call S as a surface, but it's not the region D. And this is nice because what this really means is that the k extracts the z component of the curl of f. So no matter what the curl of f is, dotting it with k means that I'm only getting the z component, and the z component of the curl of f is, as you know, is equal to the double integral of the dn over dx minus the dm over dy. I have the dA still here over d. And voila, what is this? This is Green's theorem. Perfect. So what we have is Stokes' theorem. Stokes' theorem reduces to Green's theorem if the curve C is in the xy plane, is only a 2-dimensional curve. And that's the relation between Stokes' theorem and Green's theorem.